Larry, Fort Worth Memories Museum and Groups, and YouTube at Fort Worth Memories. Just got the notification that we went live. There we are. If it'll just let me edit it. So today is Wednesday, March 26th. It's windy out there. And we're going to share it to the internet. Turn the sound off. And share it to memories and live videos. And I'll tell everybody good morning. Good morning, Tom. Jeannie's in, Tom's in. Okay. Yeah, it's windy, but it's gonna be nice. I think there's a chance of rain tomorrow and tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow 55 and Friday 80. It's going to get up to 82 degrees today. Summer is back, or spring is here, whatever you want to call it. So I started looking at that post from yesterday about the antique mall deal, and people are calling people commies and all this other crap. I haven't started removing people yet. Gene's in, but I will. If you've ever known anybody that has been removed, you don't ever come back. I don't care what the situation is. And I've removed or not accepted over 37,000 people in 10 or 12 years. If you can't act accordingly, if you need to cuss or bully people or whatever, do it on your own group. Good morning, Bill, Gene. We've got teenagers on here. Hell, I've got grandkids that are not even teenagers on here. And we've got people in their 90s and 100. And if you can't show respect for everybody, then we don't want you on here. I don't want you on here. And I'm the one that counts. So, fair warning. If you think you need to cuss or bully people or call people commies or whatever, you can make your comment, and so you disagree with somebody else's comment, that's fine. That's been going on since the start of time. Not everybody thinks the same thing. Larry's in. But I can assure you, you can either act accordingly on here or you won't be on here. And like I say, once you're kicked off, you can't get back on. I've had people call Scott or go to Scott. Nobody can override me. So I'm just giving everybody fair warning. Either be nice or don't make a comment. You know, if you think you got to bully somebody or cuss or something like that, just go look at the pictures. And while we're on that subject, early on when I made that post, good morning, Robert, somebody said, "Why did you post this, Larry? Yada, 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 yada." I didn't write that article. It was written by Fort Worth Report, and those folks are very good at what they do. I share a lot of their stuff. But bottom line, I post stuff all the time. I don't have to answer to you or anybody else as to why I post something. Your best bet is not to come on our groups and attack me, because you're not going to win. That's exactly right, Tom. When my mother was alive, she was not on the group, but she had other family members. When she would be around them, they would look at it. And so, like I say, just be nice. Come on. We got kids in high school that we're congratulating and telling everybody, hey, y'all are doing a great job, TCU athletes. Kids that go to our high schools, middle schools, and little schools that excel or don't excel. We recognize everybody. Just be nice. Be nice and there's no problems. Like I say, I know y'all don't agree with what I say. Some people do, some people don't. But that's what makes the world go round. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, well, thank you. It doesn't take much to be nice. And like I say, we post stuff that's controversial. That antique mall is controversial. I fully understand it. Just be respectful. Treat people like you want to be treated. So, like I say, the alternative, which is starting today, if you're cussing or bullying people or something, normally I put you on a suspension for 2 days, 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days. For a while, it's not going to be that. It's going to be you're gone. Okay, Cleveland Group. What do we got going? Is Brittany in yet? That girl might be sleeping in. She's in Texas. There she is. Cleveland, what's on your mind? Who, in my opinion, just women? They're asking who, in my opinion, in the early days of the formation of Fort Worth, women that stood out. That's a good subject. Let's talk about that. Really, there was a lot of good. Pam is in. There was a lot of good women that helped shape Fort Worth in its early years. But none more so than a lady whose name ended up being Edna Gladney. Edna was born in 1886 in Wisconsin, and she died in 1961 right here. She's buried at Rose Hill. Edna's mother was Minnie Neal Jones, and on the birth certificate, father was unknown. So Edna moved around different places. She had a relationship with a individual in Wisconsin that she was planning on marrying, but she ended up marrying another gentleman, and he gave her his last name. But some of the things, Edna, when she was finally, she moved around a lot in the very early 1900s, but in 1904 she came back to Fort Worth. Her aunt lived here, and I believe she had some other relative that lived here. Her husband's name was Samuel Gladney. So Edna always had this hankering for, I mean, she didn't know who her father was. And it was a stigma for her that haunted her all of her life. She felt cheated. She felt that she wasn't the same as other kids who had fathers that they knew of. So she immediately started connecting with people that were, we call it movers and shakers. She met a Reverend Isaac Morris who had a movement going that ended up being called the Texas Children's Home. This is for children that were basically not wanted, unwed mothers, abusive, whatever. Thank you. And so she worked very closely with Reverend Isaac Morris, and she helped mold that Texas Children's Home, which later became, George, good morning, which later became the Edna Gladney Home. She was always very well known around Texas, but in 1941, Scott's saying he's having medical work. Okay, Scott, got you. 1941, there was a movie, Blossoms in the Dust, and Greer Garson played Edna. That gave Edna national attention. One of the major things, something else, Cleveland's asking about the Women's Club. Edna was actually a member of the Department Club. The Department Club spun off to be Women's Club and Fort Worth Club and all this other stuff. But anyway, back to Edna. She lobbied the state of Texas, and she personally went down to Austin. This lady would not take no for a answer, or we'll try to work on it. Once she met Amon Carter, she had the power then. Amon really catapulted her up. He donated all that land over there by Arlington Heights. Anyway, she finally got the state legislature to start issuing second birth certificates. Instead of saying unknown, once these children were adopted, it had their adopted name. That was a big thing for Edna. I mean, I don't know what else to say about her, but she died. She had complications from diabetes. But from the old timers, when I first started really getting into Fort Worth history in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, some of the old timers, when you ask them about Edna Gladney, they said, well, I'll tell you what, one guy said she was a pistol. He was at one time, or different times, city council member, very active in Fort Worth government stuff. He said she wouldn't even call to make an appointment. She would just come over. And you could not put her off because she'd sit there and wait all day. So you had to give her an audience. And she wanted an answer immediately. And he just said she probably did more for child adoption and children that are abandoned, so to speak, than anybody around here. So she was a very active, and she was really the driving force of adoption and children. That we've got members that are Gladney children. So that's one lady. The second lady, y'all asked me who I thought, in my opinion, helped mold Fort Worth, was a high school teacher of mine, Kay Granger. Now, you can think all you want to about all the stuff that's being said lately. I can assure you, Kay Granger was a driving force. In high school, in my sophomore year, she was our world history teacher. The football team, all the football team was in that class. And it was the split lunch deal. You know, you come and then halfway through you stop, go eat lunch, and you come back. She used to tell us, this is just a stopping over point for me. You could not, when Kay got something in her mind, it happened. And like I say, I don't argue with anybody. I've had my differences with Kay. We've sat on the same stage before. But she was a teacher, she became mayor, and then a congressional person. And like I say, the issue about her dementia, or whatever it is you want to call it, I sure hope y'all don't throw rocks at glass houses, because that could happen to me or you or any of us. And anybody that wants to try to, morning Aaron, get headlines or something over that. I knew about it when she was first checked into the hospital. I got people in pretty much all over the city. So anyway, but we can go into her tomorrow. I've got cars coming in shortly. But Edna Gladney would have to be, my opinion, from about 1906 forward. She helped shape not just Fort Worth, but Texas and the United States. She got Congress in Texas to do the second birth certificates. And I've got notes on where she'd go to Austin and she'd say, that is a stigma for all these children. There's their birth certificate, father unknown. No. She said, we're not going for that. And they changed it. Amon Carter, I bought his memoirs, so I've got a lot of stuff that's not in any books. He said, Edna Gladney is the only person I've ever known go down to Congress and get something done and not be a politician. And he jumped on board with her. I've got photos of him and her and kids, and he had Christmas one year. The First National Bank had just opened up a new bank building downtown, and Amon had that thing decorated with a 40-foot tree and all kinds of presents, and it's really a heart-moving thing. So Edna Gladney does not get the recognition that she deserves. She did so much to help so many. Ginger's in. Did I? Well, most of y'all know I've got a photographic memory, so from about age 8 to present, if I've seen it, I can recall it. So that's one reason. She taught world history. Speaking of Kay, and so I retained all of that. One of our first disagreements was not really a disagreement. I made a point. She didn't deny it. She told us, of course, this is in the 60s. World War II had only been over, 15 years. And all of our books said how bad Hitler and Mussolini and all of those people were. And they were. And I raised my hand and she said, "What now, Larry?" I said, "Well, where do we fit in that deal? We enslaved an entire race." And she said, "You're right." And I said, "But that's not in the history books. They're not mine anyway. Do I have a special one?" And that started Kay and I. I just thought there should be some importance made to schools. When I went to school, there was no African Americans. There was a few Hispanics, not many. So I just thought that if we're gonna, in a textbook, if we're gonna call out the Nazis or Hitler or whatever, let's call ourselves out also, because we enslaved an entire race. And that was a countrywide deal. I don't think Germany, they killed 6 million Jews, but a lot of Jews escaped. But anyway, so we can take up and talk about that's a shame about Elton John. He can't walk and he can't see, and he's come in public with what he's saying is close to death. God, how many people is that guy? He's one of my favorites. So anyway, let's do the sponsors. Y'all got to help me here. We got to get a yard service. Surely there's a group of kids or a group of people or something that's going to have a yard service. Because we've got a lot. I'm not talking about somebody that's out there, well, we'll go mow your yard, but we want to do all this landscaping. It's going to be hundreds or thousands of dollars. I'm talking about the $30, $35, $40 a time yard mowing service. And a painting contractor. I still don't have a painting contractor. And a outdoor patio covers. I can get you a lot of business. You just got to get a hold of me. Okay. First sponsor of the day is Yellow Snake Horses Brazos River Ranch. Say that 10 times. You go down Interstate 20 and you exit Millsap, about an hour away, and there you come to 180 acres, and that's the Yellow Snake Horses Brazos River Ranch. Go horseback riding, 2 hours for $75. Heck of a deal. Eric Walsh, realtor, board member of Larry's Kids, great guy. Don't know how I did it all those years without guys like Eric Walsh. Dub Peacock's company, yep, he's one of them Peacock boys. A-Bird, AC, and Heating. We are guys my age, a lot of us fought. Every weekend we fought somewhere. I'm not talking about Golden Gloves. You didn't have to go far, just over to Polly or any of the drive-thrus. There were 7 of them Peacock boys. You fought them one, you fought them all. You had to. Burt Ladner Real Estate. Wes Williams is associated with that group. Wes is, you don't even recognize him if you see his videos. I bet he's lost 150 pounds. Wes is also on our board of directors at Larry's Kids. He and Sarah are always first to step up to the plate to help people out, I promise you. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel. Pat and Richard Carr. Dickie Carr Sand and Gravel was Richard's father. I go way back with Richard. Heck of a guy. When we made the giveaway a non-profit last year, Richard cut us a check for $5,000, the first person to. And there was many more. Coburn's Catering. Come on, Internet. Steve Coburn. They've been in business since 1946. They used to have a cafeteria over there on North Main, but they're still in that building. That's where they do their cooking. I've known members of the Coburn family since 1960. Dickie Carr, Grateful for Your Trees. That's Richard Carr's nephew. He needs work. He does anything to do with trees, landscaping, fence, haul-offs, demolition, sells firewood. This guy does it all. You got to pick up the phone and call him. Fort Worth Lumber. They are our, for many, many years, sponsor for lumber needs, materials, plans. They're on the South Freeway. Very active in our bicycle giveaway. K-Ranch Roofing. Jorge Hernandez is the owner. Been our roofing sponsor for many years. If you think you might have had wind damage, which a lot of homes do that you don't know yet, call and you'll get Bree. She is the office manager. She will set you up an appointment that works for you and them both, and she'll send somebody out and they'll take a look at your roof and then come in and visit with you about it. Brandon Cross Electric. Brandon's company was nominated in the DFW favorites. I don't know how they ended up or how that deal works, but they're very, very good electricians. If you need an electrician, Cross Electric. When you're dealing with our sponsors, be sure and tell them I sent you, or tell them you're a member of Memories. Jenny Stewart is our State Farm insurance lady. Very active in the community. She's actively running for City Council District 9, which is the district that this museum is in. And so we'll see how that works out for her. Old South Pancake House. Rex Benson is now the owner of that and has been for many, many years. It's been in the Benson family since 1962. The one on University is open 24/7. The one in Burleson closes at 9 or 10 at night. Great food. You can get breakfast 24/7 over on University. Sounds good to me right now. Optimist Club of Fort Worth. We just had Jeff Norman, who is heads that group up, and last Saturday he explained to us all of the great things that they do, how they got formed, and they're not just USA company, they're international. In fact, I think he said there was 3 Optimist clubs in Fort Worth or Tarrant County. Railhead Barbecue, Charlie Guerin. Charlie is our state rep. He's also on the board of directors at Larry's Kids. He brought in, as far as money being brought in for the giveaway last year, I was first, he was second. Of course, I started it 39 years ago this year, so a lot of people just donate online, and I take the glory for it. Charlie's brother is Pete Guerin. He runs the Sid Richardson Foundation, and they wrote Larry's Kids a check for $5,000. Raines Plumbing. This is a family-owned business, like most of our sponsors are, and that's our motto: buy Fort Worth, spend Fort Worth. We need to help up our local businesses, but if you need a plumber, You ain't going to find none better than Raines, I can promise you that. A lot of people are having problems with Medicare and Medicaid. You don't have no more. Call Casey Crawls Insurance. They are experts at Medicare and Medicaid. You got to initiate the phone call, and after that, they take care of it. Rex Benson's Sports Bar, Rex's Bar and Grill, fabulous place. If you hadn't been there, you need to go. I tell people, they say, is that the premier sports bar in Fort Worth? Hell, it might be in the state of Texas. He's got a giant screen in there. The only other one bigger than it is the one Jerry's got out at Jerry's World. We're going to have our birthday party there in July. Schwartz and Hanson, they're architects. They've also been sponsors for many, many years and active in our bicycle giveaway. Stroud Auto Supply, Danny Stroud and his wife run that operation. There's lots of employees there. Now, you're talking about a locally owned auto supply that stays in business and in competition with AutoZone and all the rest of them. That's because they do business the correct way. They've got a lot of people that have... I bought parts there 50 years ago, 60 years ago. Phelps Family Auto Care, they're in the Burleson area. Great reputation. Mike Phelps and his wife came over here and sat down with us and talked, and they are all about Fort Worth. Hold on. No, you know, Brittany wants to know if I've heard any more from the Tel Aviv group. I got a text message that was kind of started and then it stopped. So I don't know. Yeah, they've been hit again. But you know what? When I talked to them last, they were so happy that this administration is standing side by side with them. And that's what we need to be doing, standing side by side with them. All of these college protests, you see what the president did. If the schools allow it to go on, guess what? I think Columbia or one of them, they said you can forget that $400 million care package we give you. G2 Garage, they are in the White Settlement area. Chris heads that team up, and they are ready, willing, and able to take care of your vehicle. Fort Worth Florist, Jeanette and her team, I've got nothing but good things to say about them. If you need flowers sent, weddings, funerals, just to send flowers, call Fort Worth Florist, 817-244-2345. Alpha Design and Build, that's Lance Sanders' company. They do residential and commercial. They'll remodel your room or half your room or your business, or they'll put a second story on it for you. Whatever you need, they can handle. Scott Sumner is our IT guru. He can build you a website. You need consultation work, Scott's the pro. Clay Winstead Paint and Body. I've been doing business with the Winsteads way before Clay started running it. 40 years or better. Last time that old Red, my truck, got rear-ended, well, I guess we've got one of the Israel people on. I'm in New York, but we don't know if there's anything. Well, Brittany, I got a message from one of our members in New York that talked to them, and they think everybody's okay. Anyway, Clay Winstead runs it. When Red got rear-ended by UPS, he did a fabulous job on that truck. Okay, it's not cold, but make sure you check on our four-legged friends. Make sure they got plenty of water food, and take them to the vet. That's another sponsor we need, is a veterinarian. Worldwide group. We are a worldwide group. We're in 138 countries. We're in every state of the United States. We're in all of our territories. We've got a big presence in our connecting countries, Mexico and Canada. We've got 4,000 or 5,000 members in Mexico, and I think 1,800 and something in Canada. Okay, boys and girls, I got to get out here and get started. I'll tell you where we're going to eat Saturday. Now, Saturday morning at 8, we'll have a first one of our political interviews with Mr. Hobbs. He's running for City Council District 6, Marshall Hobbs. That's at 8 a.m. Saturday morning. So get your questions lined up. I got mine. What else? Okay. We've got 17 on the DFW group and 88 on the South Texas group. So that's about 100. That's pretty good participation. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, y'all want to research Edna Gladney some more, just use your search engine. She's all over the place. Doesn't get near the recognition she deserves, which is the way it's always been in Fort Worth. I can't speak for anywhere else. Our boxers. I'm fixing to get back on you politicians about our boxers. Anybody that comes over here and gets interviewed politically, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do to get recognition for our boxers? Back when Don Curry was undisputed, Jim Wright, the mayor of Fort Worth, Mike Moncrief, all of them, hey, I got to have let's get Don over here, get these pictures. Ain't nobody talks about him now. But that little old gym over there on Hemp Hill, Gorman Super Pros, that's what they were, Super Pros. I was over there daily. Stevie Cruz, Troy Dorsey, Donald and his brother Bruce were the first two brothers to hold world titles at the same time. And hell, Graylin, I thought Graylin was meaner than all of them. So we will have a boxing in Cowtown program coming up. Jay Strickland, Gene Hatcher, Stevie Cruz, Don, Freddie Guzman. I mean, the list is endless. So, Larry, I'm outside. I need my headlights polished. Okay, got to go try to make $1. Don't forget, I love all of you. Please be respectful. I don't want to have to kick anybody off, but if you can't show respect, treat people like you want to be treated. It's okay to disagree. Just quit calling people